And thanks so much for watching Morning Live. Now, the SABC will have to go back to the drawing board to secure a bailout from government. Updating Parliament yesterday, Communications Minister Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams revealed that the broadcaster's turnaround strategy had been rejected by National Treasury after it failed to meet the needed requirements. The SABC is seeking a 6.8 billion rand guarantee in order to keep afloat and to be able to pay salaries. So to discuss this matter further, we're joined by Buisson, who's president of the Broadcasting, Electronic Media and Allied Workers Union, or BEMAWU. Thanks so much for coming through, Hannes. Well, never a good time to have these type of discussions, but just looking at what was happening in Parliament yesterday in the Portfolio Committee, were you surprised by the developments and some of the revelations that came out of yesterday's sitting?
Well, absolutely shocked and surprised, of course, that does not create any confidence with the public and the viewers, because what was the most significant was the part that the Department of Communications says there is no approved turnaround strategy, and then the board chairperson goes on record to say, well, there is one. So it seems that as if those two are not talking to each other, and we've been informed that by the minister herself that there are weekly meetings with the board and of course the DOC. So that is of concern. We were told in a meeting not long ago, about a week and a half ago, that everything is on track. The only problem at this point in time is the fact that government is looking at all SOEs collectively to decide on its risk in providing either a bailout or a guarantee.
So the matter of the turnaround strategy seems to be the sticking point here. How extensive have your engagements been with the board about this, and what do you know about this SABC turnaround strategy, which the minister indicated was rejected by Treasury?
Well, absolutely nothing. We requested a meeting with the board about a week ago. We met with the CEO, who then briefed us, as I just said, that everything seems to be on track and it is almost at the point of finalization. So we haven't seen that particular turnaround strategy that the SABC says they've implemented. And only on the 19th of this month, there is a workshop being scheduled to brief employees on that particular turnaround strategy. So we have not seen it.
So the last time we had here on Morning Live interacted with the Chief Financial Officer, but as things stand right now, the SABC needs 6.8 billion rand in guarantees in order to keep afloat. And looking at the situation at the moment, how, in your understanding, is the organization currently operating?
We know they are operating in very difficult conditions. We know that they are operating in insolvency conditions. We know that it's the only thing that keeps the SABC afloat at this point in time is the fact that its huge creditors does not insist on payment. We know that the SABC currently is only collecting enough money to pay more or less salaries of staff and to pay small debts off. So it is an extremely difficult situation that we are sitting in at this point in time. And of course, this there was some good news for SABC employees yesterday in Parliament, where the minister said that they are meeting today to see how they are going to assist the SABC until the end of September, when this turnaround strategy must be finalized.
And speaking of, this day zero scenario, which the CFO also alluded to, this, of course, has everybody who works, who's associated, who's a supplier to the SABC quite jittery. So with regard to that, have you had any engagement, and what sort of guarantees have you been given?
The last meeting that we had with the CEO, he indicated that the SABC are collecting currently enough money to pay salaries. We don't believe that the SABC will not pay staff salaries, but indeed it does not create any confidence with advertisers, which the SABC is so desperately seeking to attract again, because you're not going to come and invest money in an organization that may go off air very shortly because of the financial situation that the SABC finds itself in.
Tell me, is that your understanding? Do you believe that we will get to that point?
Absolutely, yes. The SABC is the public broadcaster. It exists by legislation. It has to put certain content on air in terms of its license conditions, in terms of ICASA regulations. So I have no doubt that there will be this bailout. Of course, what is of concern to us is what are those conditions? And this is what we're pertinently going to ask the SABC in a letter that we're busy sending to them, is to say what exactly, we want to know what those conditions are, because when you look at the previous bailout that the SABC requested, one of the conditions was, for instance, a staff reduction. And we know by now that there's quite a significant lot of people that left the SABC, either on early retirement, fixed-term contractors not being renewed, people who feel not secure and who then goes outside and look for other jobs. So there's quite a number of people that left the SABC, and that affected the savings which the SABC claimed in Parliament yesterday.
But the problem seems to persist because the minister, referring to a bloated staff complement once again at the SABC, we know those Section 189 proceedings were halted, but what's your view on that? Is the SABC bloated as we speak?
Well, we don't know where the minister is getting that information from. We know that the company that has been appointed to do a skills audit has only been appointed or is in the process of being appointed. We've not been privy to any information that would suggest that, and we have explained the situation earlier that the SABC has got a non-existent human resources structure. There is no way for an employee to progress naturally to the next level, earning a higher salary through performance and those kind of issues. So employees must now apply for positions, or they must be rewarded and promoted via an abnormal system, often to what is considered being management scales. So if you now sit outside the organization and you look at this code, it seems to you that you are sitting with a lot of people on middle management level who doesn't have people reporting to them. Yes, they are there, but those people are skilled people that is delivering a service to the SABC, and it's because of the skewed or non-existent human resources system that this has happened. There is not a situation, we are not aware of a situation where there are any managers sitting at the SABC and they don't have a job. They have got absolutely nothing to do.
So what would be your take if that Section 189 issue was placed back on the table as part of the conditions for that bailout, some of the issues that need to be contained within that turnaround strategy?
It seems that in terms of government policy that at SOEs they are against retrenching any people. Of course, we are also against that, and we sincerely hope that we're not going to again enter into a Section 189 process. We believe that if a proper skills audit is being done, that employees would be, if there are certain redundancies in the organization, that those people would be then skilled and then moved to those different regimes or sectors in the SABC. We know that when DTT is coming to its full glory, the SABC has got a lot of channels, and we've seen this happening about 2 years ago at the BBC, who's the biggest public broadcaster in the world, where they did not retrench people, but they upskilled them and they trained them for the changing media landscape that's currently facing us, and of course, and one of the things is that we can learn from the BBC. I think when the SABC was structured into a commercial and a public broadcasting sector, the idea was for the commercial side, for instance, to fund the public broadcasting side. BBC has got a rule that no senior director or senior manager will be paid from TV license fees that they collect. They've got a different setup there. For instance, TV licenses are criminalized if you don't pay that. It's tax. In South Africa, it's exactly the same. The only thing is that the law is not being enforced. So people must pay their TV licenses, which would then create a huge stream of revenue. And there must be a political will to prosecute people who does not pay their TV licenses.
So would it be correct then to assume that should the Section 189 issue be placed back on the table, that you would resist that?
Absolutely so. We do not believe, we have not seen evidence. And of course, if we are confronted with hard facts at some point in time, that we have a lot of redundant people doing absolutely nothing in the organization, they cannot be upskilled, they cannot be retrained, then of course we need to look at ways and means to put those people back into the working environment in other sectors, for instance. But we are opposed to retrenching people. We know currently that the operational people at the SABC, we are receiving daily complaints of people that saying, I have to do the job of 3 people, and the SABC has got a moratorium on the appointment of people. So we know that there is a shortage of staff at this point in time. We don't know where this bloated structure lies.
So talking about the turnaround strategy once again, because it seems as though the guarantee, the bailout hinges on this particular matter. What also emanated from yesterday's portfolio committee sitting was that the Government Technical Advisory Centre seemed to have taken over the development of this turnaround strategy. And you said you're going to be meeting with the board. So exactly what are you going to be meeting about, and what would you want to have as input into that turnaround strategy? What would you like to see?
Well, I think that the main concern, and this is what we've raised in the Section 189 process, is that, no disrespect, but we're getting a board that's coming, it's got absolutely no broadcasting experience. We're getting executives that may or may not have broadcasting experience. The staff working at the SABC are the professionals, are the people who are broadcasters. And those are the people that must be consulted. Those are the people whose ideas must be taken into consideration. That has not happened. So in that process going forward, we would like to see a process, a transparent process where in an organized manner, we can source input from staff. We can have workshops and mini workshops and those kind of situations where everyone can be involved, working at the SABC, in turning around the SABC and to make it profitable. There is not a single employee in this organization who does not want the SABC to work. Everyone wants to, but they're all kept in the dark. There is some mystery turnaround plan that sits somewhere that has not been approved, but is approved, which, those are the kind of things that's a problem. So our intention is, and we're talking about organized labor at the SABC, is currently drafting a letter which will be sent to the SABC today, and also to the Minister and to the Portfolio Committee and to DOC and everyone. We want to get everyone in a room so that we can understand on behalf of SABC employees what exactly are those conditions, why they were not met, why we were told that this process is on track, and then try and assist in that process. But at least then tell SABC employees this is the situation, because no one knows what's happening.
Well, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much to Hannes de Buisson, President of the Broadcasting, Electronic Media and Allied Workers Union, or BEMAWU, reacting there, of course, to the Communication Minister's update on the finances of the SABC, amongst other things, in Parliament yesterday. And we did invite the SABC, the organization, not talking at the moment, but as soon as they do, we will have them here in studio, no doubt.